All right. Haven't been doing these Bethesda Gear Store videos in a while, and somebody who actually posted in one of my streams for the Bethesda Gear Store was kind of right that they haven't been. I was actually gonna make this video last week when they made the statue for the Slayer. I don't know, man. I just haven't been wanting to make these videos. I just feel so much shit going on right now. So how can I start this? So Bethesda slash it had the balls, man, because I'm not happy at all. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make these videos positive, but it's just, it pisses me off, man. They're giving us a brand new Doom game that's coming out next year. Might postpone to 2026 like the Doom Eternal did. Anyways, we're finally gonna get a Slayer statue because back in 2019, I believe, we had another Slayer statue from this website, but it was the classic Doom, so it wasn't necessarily a Slayer statue from Doom Eternal. And Think Geek, I think it was a company that was the only company that made a Doom Eternal statue. It was very light PVC, which I'm a big fan. These materials they use for these statues are polystone, just like most of the people who collect are resin statues, which is very, very, very similar to polystone. I think polystone, the material is more expensive. That's why most statue manufacturers they stick to resin because I think it's cheaper. Resin is a little bit more expensive, but yeah, they use resin for these statues. So go freaking figure. But I think I can be wrong on the pricings here. Uh, Give me a second. And yeah, man. So when I found out that we're making a Doom Eternal statue, I'm like, all right, no big deal, right? No big deal. We're finally gonna have another statue for Doom. Whoopie doo. All those Doom fans, whoopie doo. But there is a freaking. Where can I start, man? There's a lot of nonsense here. First of all, it's a pre-order. Pre-orders usually take a month. Not anymore. From what I've been seeing, this has been on pre-order since spring of this year. And I'm not sure if the pre-orders they get shipped out when everybody gets their crap together, like limited runs. You know how limited runs the pre-orders will take like of a freaking 6 months and then 8 months and then a year. Now it's a year and a half. I think at this point that I stop keeping track, I think probably if you buy something from them, it's gonna take you 2 years to fucking get the item. So I wouldn't be surprised if that should be the case here with this Bethesda Gear Store now, because I mean, with all fairness, companies want to make a lot of money and profit. I get it, and they don't want to lose. So what Bethesda Gear Store was doing, from what I've been seeing, I mean, I could be wrong here, but what I'm seeing is that, well, let's order 800 of these. All right, fair enough. Let's order 1,000 of these. All right, fair enough. So, trying to see if there's gonna be a number here because I do not recall seeing a number. This one's not gonna be limited. So that means this one is probably gonna be much, much cheaper for you fucking scalpers out there who want to make the most profit out of it. So this one's not gonna be limited. Only people who've pre-ordered, I don't know, 400 people are interested. There's only gonna be 400 statues. Oh, 600 people are gonna be interested. Only 600. So this is all depend on the market of what's gonna be out there available in the internet. So in essence, this is actually gonna favor more so to, and I'm pretty sure freaking third party vendors, not third party vendors, from vendors from Bethesda Gear Store, they buy some merch. The people who I don't know, I don't have evidence of this, but I'm pretty sure there's a few people that are doing that out there that are selling on eBay, Mercari, Amazon, whatever. They get a few and then they try and sell it to some of their buddies and they try to make a profit. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem with that is that the pre-orders are limited to one person. But we don't necessarily know if that applies to those people that are working for those companies, like Bethesda Gear Store. We don't know, man. Like some of these people, they make their own rules. Sometimes they get some batch of stuff for free for working, or they get it at a relatively cheaper price. We just don't know, man. So the whole limited freaking pre-order thing, I'm not for it. I do see some pros and I do see some cons. The pros are that you're not gonna have scalpers actually amassing, oh, there's only limited of freaking 800. Let me buy 20 of these, or let me buy 10 or 5, whatever. And I'm pretty sure that by the end of next year, um, I will have, I will probably make a profit. That's more or less what I've been seeing. I haven't done that, but from what I've been seeing on eBay, that's what people were doing. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was mainly people working for this company or third-party vendors that are really good at scalping that had a lot of merch. And oddly enough, there was a lot of merch from Bethesda Gear Store. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, fair. But this is 140, which is more expensive. All right, 110, 140. I mean, that's fine, right? Iron Studios has $200, 220, 180. 110 scale. But is this really a 110 scale? Let's look at the pictures. Looks very similar from the Doom Eternal final boss statue, like the rock and everything, right? Let's keep looking at the pictures and then let's look at the description in a bit. Let's have them side by side, man. Did they change the pictures? They fucking deleted the pictures, man. I remember seeing another picture where you could have seen the image. So technically, yeah, they really. I should have streamed this on the first day. Yeah, I think they tainted with the pictures. This looked a lot smaller. It was like right next to each other, facing off. Yo, I can't even find it anymore. I'm pretty sure they probably deleted it. Anyways, all right, let's look at the description. Maybe they did change something. I don't know. Nope. The description, it is the same. I do remember. So the height is approximately, if you cannot see, let me make it bigger for you. 6 inches height. You do realize that 6 inches in height is very, very small for 110 scale. That is as big as probably a little bit bigger than Pain Elemental, but slightly smaller than the Marauder. And the Marauder statue, no pun intended, man, it's kind of small for a 110 scale. And if you actually compare with the McFarlane figure that that is around like around the same size, 110. It looks a little bit bigger, the McFarlane figure, which is way, way cheaper than the Marauder statue. So you're telling me that this thing is 6 inches in height. I know the Slayer's not all the way standing up, but dude, make it at least 8 inches. Who makes these freaking statues, dude? Like, I don't know if you guys own some of the Doom statues, but some of the sizes of the demons are way, way off. I think the Archbile is like the only one that is very, very accurate with like the height and everything. Like the Pinky Demon looks way too big, but it's a really amazing statue. I think it's my favorite of all of them. But then the Marauder is like as big as the Slayer, but it's the statue is slightly smaller than the Slayer. Like, come on, man. And then the Revenant, which is a very tall demon or monster or I don't know, experiment or whatever you want to call it. It's smaller than the Marauder. Keep in mind that the Marauder statue was released in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, for 80 bucks. So the prices have been going up, and then the statue sizes are not all the same with the game. Like they're all different sizes. So some are way too big. Um, like the Pinky Demon. I know the Pinky Demon is not even that big. It looks way too big for its size. Like it could have been a lot smaller. And the Marauder could have been a lot bigger. The Revenant could have been a lot bigger. The Pinky Demon and Pele Melanto, uh, that's okay. I mean, no comment. I'm not saying it's a good, bad. Both of them could have been a little bit bigger as well. The Argyle is an amazing size. I think it's probably the best statue that Bethesda Gear Store has ever made, and it's actually not the most expensive statue out there. So, have you guys ever seen the Argyle statue? Look it up. It's an amazing piece. It's a two piece, so comes connected. This one is probably gonna be one piece. So if by any chance you break something, everything's gonna come off. So you gotta be very careful it doesn't come off and on. Which I mean, honestly, I don't like connecting stuff. I've seen people, really good collectors, I'm not gonna mention names out there on YouTube, who have a little bit of kind of off placements for the legs of some of the statues. I'm like, all right, this kind of looks weird, but I didn't want to say anything. And so I guess that's a good thing. You don't have to mess around connecting the legs with the base. I get it. I get it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of having multiple pieces either. That's why I like 110 scale. But dude, I think this statue's way too small. Like, what makes this a really, really nice piece? It's gonna be the hammer right here, man. But I don't like the fact that the hammer's taking some space back. So on my setup, it's probably not gonna fit. And I don't know how long it's gonna take for the pre-orders. I don't know if it like the pre-order, if you pre-order it, you're gonna get it like months from now, or if everybody is gonna pre-order and the company Bethesda Gear Store is looking out for like, I want at least 500 pre-orders. Then after 500, we can start what's it called? We can start mailing out the pieces to people. So limited run games, sorry, the company, they give out like a month, and I think in one pre-order, I don't have evidence of this, but I know they did this. They moved the pre-order forward because they were not making enough pre-orders. So the company was losing money as a matter of fact because people were not pre-ordering. I don't remember which game, but I remember the pre-orders got moved a little bit ahead, and I quickly picked up on, oh, okay, then people are not actually pre-ordering that, and then they need a certain amount to make money and profit. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same thing here with Bethesda Gear Store. You're gonna get an agreement before you actually make the purchase, and a lot of these pre-order agreements, if you want to actually get your money back, you're not gonna get you're not gonna get the pre-order money. You're gonna get like, I don't know what's the percentage, but you get a percentage back, like 90, 95%, and then like a percentage of the pre-order you don't get your money back. It's like GameStop whenever you people pre-order. I think it was what, $5? I don't know if it's still $5. I haven't keeping track of GameStop in literally years, but yeah. So basically, what's it called? Yeah, if you were actually cancel the pre-order of the game, you wouldn't get those $5. So I'm pretty sure it would be the same thing here. I'm not sure. So let's see. Any order that contains a pre-order will not ship until all items on the order Holy fuck. Whoa, there. That explains what I was saying about limited run. Limited run does the same thing. They give a timetable, but there's no timetable here. So my suggestion and my guess as well is that they're probably looking for a certain amount to make in order to actually start shipping everything. Because if only 200 people are gonna pre-order it, obviously they want to make more in order to make profit and money. So this one has been, dude, it's been months since they put out the replica, and I'm surprised it's still out in pre-order. So I wouldn't be surprised if December comes in, this thing's still in pre-order, which usually after a month, the pre-orders would disappear. So any statue that you would purchase from Bethesda Gear Store would last about a month and a half from what I've been seeing and I'm remembering when I did the purchases from them before. So, like I said, this thing you're probably not gonna get it not anytime soon because usually would take like a month after pre-orders would be like a month and a half, sorry, more or less. And then after that, the pre-orders would cease to exist, and then now you have to purchase the item, and then you would get the item in like 4 to 6 months. I think it was about 4 to 5 months, if I'm not mistaken. Like the art bio, I think I did. Man, I just don't remember when it was, but I think it was 4 or 5 months. I know for a fact that it wasn't longer than 6 months. Not anything crazy like limited run games, because I know there was. I think it was like it passed the season. So if I did the purchase on like Christmas, not Christmas, winter time, I will get it like late springtime, so give or take 5, 4, 5 months, something like that. So, with all fairness, I don't know, and and I don't know if other people on YouTube out there is explaining how long are these shipments gonna take. So this is a big deal for a lot of people who don't have patience. Sometimes I do lose patience with a lot of this stuff. Like that's why I stopped purchasing limited run because now they take almost 2 years to ship your item. So it's like ridiculous, man. But I don't like the fact that the dimensions for this is 6 inches. I would have loved if this layer would have been at least 8 inches. Um, I think I don't have a measuring tape with me, but I would love. I should have done this, but I know for a fact that the Arc Bio, which is one of the biggest ones, is like probably 9 inches, and probably are around 7.5 inches would have probably been good enough for me, or 7 and one quarter, um, 1/4. Sorry, 7 and 1/4. I think 6 inches is way too short, man. And then the length, of course, is 7 inches because of the wait. So it's height, and then this is the width, and this is the length. Yeah, because of the what's it called? The hammer. That's why the length is a little bit bigger. So that's one thing that I kind of don't like because my stand is kind of very short, so I don't know if it's gonna fit behind it. Honestly, I kind of lost interest in collecting Doom stuff because I've been begging for them to make us a freaking Mancubus before the new Doom was gonna arrive. Like, I thought they were actually giving us all the characters for the multiplayer, and then I saw the Pinky Demon. I'm like, holy shit! Well, this guy's not playable. And then I guess I don't know what they were going for. I don't know if it was a fan page on freaking Instagram or Facebook or something. Polls of like the type of statues people will want. I never got told anything. The freaking Doom community doesn't even talk about it. They don't talk to me about it. I don't have communication. I've been wanting to connect with them for a while, connecting with people, but just nobody talks about how they even decide to actually make the upcoming statue. Because honestly, man, I know the Slayer's a badass character, don't get me wrong, but I prefer way more a Mancubus statue than a Slayer statue. I'm sorry that if I'm offending people, we already have three Slayer statues that you could actually find online, which is the Slayer zombie statue, the classic Doom skin statue from this website, and then the Think Geek Slayer statue that is PBC, which is on the feet is like stepping on a freaking Hell Knight head. So I don't know, man. Like you be the judge if you really want to do these purchases. I think I'm gonna opt out. Like I really wanted to be a collector, but there's just so many things that are. I mean, I already told you where can I start, man. Like it's one thing after another. Pre-order things are not gonna take longer, which is a big bummer for me. And these things are getting more expensive, as you can see. That's another. And the statues are getting a little bit smaller. These are supposed to be 1/10, not 1/12 or something smaller. Because on average, 1/10 are supposed to be close to 10 inches or around 10 inches in height. These are a lot smaller, dude. And the average statue collector that is very very like familiar with the dimensions and everything, I think they do get offended whenever they see a statue that is not on par of what they get. So whenever, I mean, I'm not gonna mention names here, but I definitely seen people that what's it called? I think it was a Goro statue, if I'm not mistaken, or Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I'm like, this is a way bigger statue for being a freaking 1/4 scale. This looks like a 1/3 scale, and I think he was happy that the 1/4 is much much bigger than most 1/4 scales that he had. But what if you felt like the 1/4 you purchased kind of looked like a 1/6 scale? I don't think you would be too satisfied, right? This is what's the problem with this statues right here from this website. And I think the vast majority of people do not care or are not aware. And I'm just spreading out awareness. Like if you're gonna get a freaking 1/10 scale price, which they're supposed to actually put the statue 1/10, because there were all of them have been 1/10, but some of them are way smaller. Like the arc bow is a perfect example of a 1/10 scale, man. You know, I keep talking about the arc bow statue. Okay, there's people. I'm not gonna promote sellers out there. Oh man. Well, I'm not gonna click on the link. Yeah, so this right here was perfect. The only problem is that the piece you had to connect it with the base. If that would have not been the case, this should have been the most perfect statue they have made for Bethesda Gear Store. I think they were really close to actually making a really good, I mean, really good statue here. The only downside is that the pieces were disconnected, and I'm not a big fan of some of these very sharp um objects, but I mean, dude, it's a statue, so at the end of the day, like, I mean, personally, that's just way too much if I'm whining about that because it's a statue. Statues always have very sharp objects, so this one had a really sharp. I think the Prinky Demon was another one, and the Kaku Demon was had very sharp objects. So I'm not a big fan of that, but aside from that, like the dimensions of connecting the base, I wish I would have not done that. I think this one definitely is not gonna have this, so you're gonna have it, and I think if your statue comes in broken, they give you a freaking fee in order to actually have insurance to make sure that if your piece by any chance comes out broken, then you can get another one. Because I think back in 2019, before the pandemic, There was a lot of people getting statues, and some people are freaking scummy snakes that they break whatever little piece to actually get what's it called? Other pieces. Like I don't know, man. Like I never done that, but I did get a figure from them. Legit, the arm did not move up, and I actually messaged them politely, "Hey, this is what's going on, so and so." They actually ship out another one, and I'm just gonna be honest here. I'm not lying. The extra one, I did not sell it. I gave it to my brother. So I still have the defective one. I did not give it out. I did not sell it. I'm actually trying to get rid of it now because I don't want toys anymore. But sometimes you do get defective items. Just keep in mind that I don't know if they actually offer insurance here. I think I did see it one time. But yeah, for the better part, Bethesda Gear Store is not a bad company, but I don't think it's a good company either. I think it's in between, and I'll tell you why it's not a good company. The dimensions and the items who make these, I don't know who they're hiring, but they're not actually getting on par with the game characters. Like, if you're gonna get a statue, make a statue that's a little bit bigger, man. Like, make it slightly as big as the Dark Lord. Like, the Dark Lord statue is gonna be slightly bigger, man. So just keep in mind. I know the game is gonna be what's it called? The height. Probably the Dark Lord is a little bit bigger, but there's some statues like the Marauder, which is almost the same size as the Slayer. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy right here is a little bit shorter. And I know he's leaning, I get it. But like the heights and the dimensions are kind of way off for a lot of the statues. Like especially the Revenant, man. The Revenant statue is way, way too small. And keep in mind the Revenant is like a freaking 6.5 or it's a way bigger than 6 feet tall uh, monstrosity. He's a big creature, but it's not as big as the Archbile. That's why the Archbile is a little bit bigger in size. But yeah, I wish the Archbile could have been a little bit bigger, and then the Arc Revenant would have been much much bigger. And just the Pinky Demon, man. If you compare with the Revenant, is way too big. Like the Pinky Demon is not even tall. It's a very short demon. It's wide though, but it's a very short demon. Anyways, let me move on with something else that I was gonna mention about Philip, the guy that is boys for the voiceless, and I did mention that I was gonna actually gonna talk about him. Great guy. Um, I've been seeing his channels kind of like on the same story on quote unquote with me. I've been struggling with getting subs, but I think his sub count has been going up, and I can see more or less what's going on. His editing skills and putting videos together is actually pretty phenomenal. The second thing is that he's sponsoring companies, not big companies, but small companies that he works for or he's affiliated with. YouTube definitely likes if you partner or you actually promote companies. Um, they like that. So the freaking YouTube AI algorithms or whatever you want to call it, they start promoting your channel like that. And I think the reason why Philip One collects, I think I started seeing his videos that he's the type of person that if he says something that is not right, he talks about it and he actually brings it up. Similar to me, but I think he brings it up at a way better tone than me. I put it more of a, like a freaking whining. Oh, I sound like an old man a lot of the times, but this guy mentions it more better in terms of like, you know what, it's not fair. This person or this company is doing so and so and so, and he's been making great points. So I highly suggest if you really want to watch his content, he is a perfect example of a gamer that is showing great how to collect. Like his collection is phenomenally good, way 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 too good. Um, I was actually gonna mention something about Etsy. But aside from that, like I don't feel like actually promoting stores unless I purchase something that I'm happy with. And somebody was actually gonna make me a Doom 64 Paint Elemental statue on Etsy. This person just ghosted me for 3 months. Didn't say anything. So I just replied to him today, and I said, you know what? Thank you. Just not interested anymore. And then he has an amazing pieces, and I think the guy is not making the freaking statues. He's getting it from somebody else, and then he's actually selling it because a lot of these Etsy sellers, I've been noticing that I'm not gonna say they're scummy, but they they know that the market of collecting is high and people are willing to pay ridiculous amounts of prices. So what the people are actually doing, let me take off Phil, sorry about that. So what people are doing is that they're paying, like I said, any amount of price of something that they see that looks really, really nice, even better than stuff like this, but they're actually not making it. They're buying it from other people, from what I've been seeing. And I already saw three sellers that are doing this. And again, I'm not gonna mention names. I'm like, son of a bitch, man. I could be doing that as well. I could be buying obscure, and I think there's a YouTuber out there that has like 500 some subscriptions that he buys statues that are not painted, and then black and white he buys them really cheap, 3D printed, 40 to 80 bucks on average. That's what they cost. Some are way cheaper than 40, but most on average they're like 40 to 80 bucks. Some can be a little bit pricey, like 100 and something if they're like 1/6 scale. So the painting thing and the painting job is what makes the statue valuable. So this guy knocks off these statues in like one video. And if you have the expertise and you have the knowledge to do this stuff, you can save up a lot of money and then you can start selling these on Etsy. So anybody that's actually selling freaking 1/6, 1/10 for over 150 bucks, those guys are buying statues from other people. Or if they're buying 3D printed statues, they're painting them and they're not necessarily making the sculpt, if that makes sense. But for the better part, anybody who's charging way ridiculous past 250, they're buying it from somebody else without even doing anything and they just want to make freaking 50, 100 bucks profit. Anyways, I just wanted to point out there that yeah, some people are doing that on Etsy and I'm like, you know what? I don't understand why these people are actually trying to think like they're all that when they're just getting shit from other people, dude. I don't know, man. Like when I ended up finding that out, I'm like, man, I guess I was dumb enough and gullible enough to think that's how much the value of those statues are, but in reality, they just want to make a profit. So I'm gonna end this video with let me see. You're gonna get something from Etsy, statue wise. Make sure you don't pay more than what this statue cost, 140. If it's a 1/6 scale, maybe 100 to 200, but don't get past 200. Nothing should cost what real studio statues should cost. If anything, it should be half the price. So if a 1/6 scale is 300 bucks, 350, it should be half the price from a freaking somebody who sculpts them 3D printed. If that is $200 statue from a game character that you like, if you see it on Etsy, it shouldn't cost 200 or more dollars from that same size. It should be half the price. Like I'm sick and tired of these collectors trying to make. And I know there's a lot of people that are making this stuff to actually gain a profit, but trust me, there's a lot of people out there that are buying and they're not doing shit and they're just reselling it just to make a profit. And guess what? There's a lot of collectors out there that are just getting scammed by overpaying so much. Dude, I'm done with this, man. I'm gonna cut this video. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Peace out.